Hello my friends and welcome back. It's Friday, so happy Friday to you, the end of the week. Time to have a cold brewski with the friends, but not before we analyze the biggest battles in the Pokrovsk directions, because yes, Russians did launch one of their biggest assaults on the northern side of Pokrovsk. We have a recon drone video of it, Ukrainian recon drone video, and they say it was 100 to 150 motorcycles. I mean, imagine that. It's a massive amount of motorcycles. And there were also armored vehicles, BTRs, BMPs, and these Chinese Desert Cross 1000 Golf cars you have seen. You can see them moving around right here also. I give you 3 times to guess what happened to the convoy, what happened to the assault. On this clip, yeah, you can see in addition to the motorcycles, they sent armored vehicles. They sent it all together in combination, hoping that something will work. But in this case, it really didn't. One by one, they were all turned into good Russians. Fertilizer for the Pokrovsk ground, because in the future it will be again an agricultural area. So they will fertilize the future crops of Ukrainian fields. So what is the outcome of it? Well, first of all, they were repelled. The assault was repelled by the 14th Brigade of the National Guard. Retaliation is their code name, or its nickname. And they state that 240 Russian soldiers with KIA knocked out cold, sleeping with the fishes, pushing up sunflowers. Losses include 96 motorcycles, 21 armored vehicles, 2 cars, and 2 artillery systems. That is massive, one of the biggest assaults Russians have ever done. And let's also look at the location. We have the exact road. You saw the road in the video where they were advancing. Well, this here is the exact road. Now look at this beautiful field. This Google image, satellite image photo, of course, is taken before the full-scale invasion. Look, no bomb holes, no moon surface anywhere. No arrivals of drones or nothing. And if we zoom out, we see why this was the place of the battle, because a little bit west of it is Pokrovsk. They were trying to push northeast from Pokrovsk. They were trying to push this salient. The truth is, Ukrainian troops have pushed back Russian positions near Pokrovsk. Ukrainian chief of staff came out with a communication that about 15 square kilometers, it's not much, but it's very important, forward positions have been liberated around Pokrovsk. So Ukrainians are actually very slowly taking back important positions around Pokrovsk. And this battle was another indication of this. Russians are using massive numbers to push. It doesn't work. It worked 6 months ago, right now it doesn't. And as I mentioned, 96 motorcycles destroyed. I mean, these Russians are taking their motorcycles very seriously. In this video, we can actually see Russians training with the motorcycles, how to assault with the motorcycles. In the back here, we can see an infantry charge in the training. But in the foreground, keep an eye on these motorcycles, guys. Look what the first guy does. Barbed wire or a razor wire, drives into it, lowers his motorcycle or falls, and others are gonna jump over it. This is a way to get over the barbed wire or razor wire, and they're actually training. This is their official tactic they use. And as you can see, it works. They can jump over it, but in this training scenario, there's no mortar fire, there's no FPV drones, there's no bombers, bombers up above, and the situation is different on the battlefield, of course. But in theory, this works. Now, my friends, you guessed it, it's Friday, so for the last time of this week, I'm going to butcher to the moon some of the Buy Me a Coffee monthly members. We have Kevin Redick, Someone, Neil Kok. I said these names already, but we don't have that many new members, so I have to repeat these 2 names now. Justin Carles Sleman and Mikhail Palazzola. Grazie. Thank you for joining up. Actually, we had only 2 names here. I repeated 3 names, so consider your names to be butchered twice. All right, we looked at the Pokrovsk front, which is Donetsk, Donbass. Now let's jump to the southern front, because for some reason, I don't know if it was a political order, maybe Putin is feeling a little bit of pressure because Trump might be pissed in the end when he discovers that Putin is dragging his feet. In Zaporizhia on April 16th, we're talking about the southern front. Russians launched as big of an assault, talking about 320 personnel approximately, 40 armored combat vehicles, 3 tanks, and around 10 buggies. Buggies, these are these Desert Cross 1000 Chinese golf cars. Now that's in the southern front, almost at the same time as in the Pokrovsk, so they're pushing very heavily with these massive convoys. Ukrainian defense forces detected enemy's movement in advance through aerial recon drones and responded with strikes using drones and artillery. So the first Russian infantry fighting vehicles were destroyed about 8 kilometers from the front line. So they did not even reach when already the bombs started falling. And it all is represented in these videos also. I'll fast it forward for you. See, these are motorcycles. We can see them speeding off. These are armored vehicles. They use them in combination. And the armored vehicles, the first one is always a turtle tank, leading, soaking up several FPVs before getting knocked out cold. What is followed is the motorcycles, which will be eventually knocked out cold. It's a very shaky video, jumps around here and there, it's explosion after explosion, but the outcome is the same. This attack was stopped. Approximately, Ukrainians claim approximately 140 Russians were KIA'd, pushing up sunflowers on these fields now in the south, which is a very agricultural area. Before the war, all of these areas were just fields. Ukraine grows crops, a lot of it, like major amounts of crops in the world. So if these troops are lying there and they are enriching that soil with the fertilizer of their bodies. Now, my friends, we go to a unit I am very familiar with. We're talking about Ukrainian code 92 of the 92nd Special Operations Forces. And I have a patch right here because I remember about 1.5 years ago, I gave them a car and night visions also. You donated to do this. So I've met the guys and they do God's work. Why I'm talking about them? Because we got a wonderful video from them of they destroying Russian nearby radar system. You can all see it on the screen right now. They have actually dug it in, which is a lot of work. I mean, Russians, they do it and they don't do it, depending on, which video you see. In this case, a turning big radar, you don't even need to know what it is. You don't even need to know if it's a nearby radar. If it's turning, if it's big, it has antennas, it's a very high value target. You gotta take it out. And these guys, they know it. And it's eliminated, as you can see. Now here it was a stationary observation post connected to this water tower right here, and bada bing boom. And here's another one. These 3 radars, one of them observation posts, they're incredibly dangerous. And code 92 Special Operations Brigade is doing God's work eliminating. I just want to keep you updated because you donated to this campaign. A lot of money actually. And we gave a car, we gave night and thermal visions. So you can see these guys are still doing the work 1.5 years later. Thank you for donating 1.5 years ago. If you have this patch, you're a legend. Now this video was geolocated. You can see it on the screen right now. And it was to be 40 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, north of Harkiv and east of Belgorod, around right here, as you can see. Last Sunday, so right now it's Friday, so 5 days ago, Sunday, Russia attacked Sumy city center with 2 Iskander missiles, and it was one of the most devastating attacks against Ukrainian civilians I've ever seen. You all know the numbers, you all know the story. Now, we know now, because of Ukrainian GUR, they have researched it out who did it. It was the 448th Missile Brigade and 112th Missile Brigade of the Russian Federation Armed Forces. Both of these brigades field the Iskander missiles, they have separate bases, and Ukraine attacked 2 days later the 448th Missile Brigade. We watched the videos in the last video already. It was a confirmed attack, it was successful, everything was burning. Well, today we get new videos of Ukrainians sending their presence to the 112th Missile Brigade base in Shuya Ivanova region. That is 700 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, so these two bases have both been attacked back now by Ukrainians. You can call it a payback, you can call it a revenge. Let's go through the videos. Now this is for Sumy, let's not forget Sumy. Now this here is a barracks of 112th Missile Brigade troops. A direct hit. And another one is coming. These drones are called Luty drones, and they're very effective. We have seen Ukrainians using them for over a year now. Very effective long-range drones, and every time they fly, they're very slow, they're very loud, and a bunch of Russians are always shooting at them with small arms. You can hear kaboom, like shooting back from all over the places all the time when they're flying. And nobody hits them, because it's really hard to hit a drone with your Kalashnikov like that. It's very difficult. There's a bunch of videos. Look at the screen, like so many videos. I'm not going to go through them one by one, but I just want you to know that Ukrainians will pinpoint every brigade that is taking part of these attacks against Ukrainian civilians, like the attack against Sumy city center. These two brigades, their bases have been identified, geolocated, and hit. Right now, both of them with drones, pinpoint accuracy. And I want to go and look at one video more, which is the inside of the barracks. These are the very troops of this brigade. They're inside. And boom, their barracks was just hit. Payback is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. There's plenty of videos about it. Links in the description below. You can go and check them out yourself. I'm not going to go through like 20 videos for you, but you get the point. The revenge has been acted upon. Now, my friends, let's go through an analysis of anti-drone nets. And I'll go through videos, both sides, Ukrainian and Russians, because they're both using two of the things I want to talk about. They're both using anti-drone nets on the roads, logistical roads, and they're both using FPV drones, which are used to go under these nets to hunt everybody who is under. First of all, let's go to the Bakhmut. I mean, this is in the winter, as you can see, of course, but the point is the same. This is what the net looks like. It's a logistical supply road, incredibly important life roads. Both sides use this kind of netting to defend their supply roads of a few kilometers before the hot spot of the battles. In this instance, it was Bakhmut in 23. Here is another instance of a Ukrainian road defense supply road defended by these nets, and it's quite difficult sometimes to fly underneath here with an FPV drone, but with a fiber optic FPV drone, Russians have been known to do that, and I want to show that to you also. Now this here, you can see a Russian fiber optic FPV drone picture, just to show you that nothing is invincible, that if you put up these nets, I mean, both Ukrainians and Russians are flying underneath these nets. But the video also illustrates that these nets do work in a way because they make the drone less agile. Russians and Ukrainians both lose more drones because they get stuck in these nets if they're not really good pilots. You can see it immediately. Look, spots a vehicle, wants to go in, but there are nets, so it doesn't want to lose the drone, has to play it very safe. Lands next to the nets. And these are, you know, similar to the trucks that I have donated also. Very similar. Could be 69th Civil Brigade truck. I don't know here. Lands, look at the barbed wire, and flies underneath the barbed wire. So this is a very skilled Russian drone pilot. And doesn't go after the car, goes after the people. Flies underneath the wire again. You can see it cannot speed. It cannot be very agile and aggressive. It has to be very careful with the drone, otherwise it will lose it to the barbed wire. So the nets do work. They slow the drones down, but they're not a miracle defense system. And I'm not going to show you the end of the video, but you get the idea. Both Russians and Ukrainians are using fiber optic FPVs to outplay these defensive nets on the supply roads. And there's plenty of videos right here, as you can see on the screen. I'm not going to show you all of them, but links are in the description. Now, my friends, I want to show you something awesome. Look at that. Pikachu joined the people. Turkish protests. But this is a members first video. Every Saturday I upload a video. So that means 4 videos a month for members only. Members get it 1 week before everybody else. It's an in-depth analysis of topics connected to Ukrainian war. In this instance, it is about Pikachu and the Turkish protests. I mean, it's not about Pikachu, it's about the Turkish protests that happened. But look, Pikachu was on the side of the people. We go through all of the topics in the history in Turkey and Erdogan and everything. Go and check it out and become a member of the channel. It's only 99 cents. The link is in the description below. See you there, my friends. Now, again, I want to show you a video showing how Russians are cutting their anti-infantry FPV munitions casings. It's a long sentence, I know, but this is a metal casing, metal tube that goes around the explosive. So if it explodes, these parts right here will explode into small pieces, as you can see. In the end, it looks like that. And you cannot break these pieces apart, but with the explosive force, it will break them all apart, making them into deadly shrapnel flying across the air. So 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter. It's like anti-infantry FPV explosive, I don't know how to call it, but you see, you get the point. Again, both sides are doing the same thing. Ukrainians are doing the same thing. Another option is that you can see inside this tube, this will be filled with explosives. Outside, usually both Russians and Ukrainians, they put nails or metal balls, steel balls that will be exploded out as shrapnel. But in this very specific instance, we saw a CNC machine cutting a tube into shrapnel of 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter. There's many different ways you can do this, but just to illustrate how deadly these anti-infantry FPVs are on both sides, because when they do go kaboom, they fill out a certain area with flying shrapnel so tense that nothing will move after that. It will turn you into a red mist. Now I will show you a Russian vehicle again. This is a Russian UGV, unmanned ground vehicle. This is a Russian ground drone, basically. It's not a kamikaze drone. This is an anti-mining UGV. And why I want to show you, because we sometimes in the Ukrainian support community in the world, we get a one-sided picture of, oh, Ukrainians have all this tech and Russians don't. They have almost everything Ukrainians have, with some exceptions, of course. Russians are not able to create Baba Yaga, these big octocopter drones, bomber drones for some reason. But in the case of UGVs, ground drones, they have them. Boom, taking out an anti-personnel mine 1, taking out an anti-personnel mine number 2, and number 3, boom, done. So these vehicles are demining on the side of the railroad. Just to illustrate, the Russians also have them. And you can use these UGVs in many different roles. I've seen plenty of videos exactly like this on the Ukrainian side, but this specific one comes from the Russian side. Again, this is the same UGV, but now used as a kamikaze UGV. What they do is they put an anti-tank mine on top and just drive this UGV into any kind of position they want, and then you know what follows. All right, my friends, now we jump to Kazakhstan, we jump to Astana. Because here we see, I'm filmed by civilians of course, we see massive military convoys driving on the road, and they're driving to Russia's side over the border. Where are they driving? I'm glad you asked. To Moscow. 9th of May is approaching, Den Babede. This is the biggest day in Russia ever at all. It's bigger than any kind of Christian holidays, or their religion is 9th of May. It is this made up cult of death over Second World War. And all of these trucks, these drone trucks, I saw an S-300 also, they will go and bolster up Putin's forces in the brigade, because honestly they don't have enough in Russia. If they do, they send it immediately to the front, and we watched 2 massive attacks today of everything being minced meat. So yeah, Kazakhstan is borrowing their units, their armored vehicles to Moscow for the parade. Now, my friends, I want to introduce you to Lithuanian defense minister. See, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Poland, some already have done it, some will do it, but we will all in the end pull out of the Ottawa Convention, which is a convention with NATO and allied forces and most countries in the world. They say that we will not use anti-personnel landmines. This is the Ottawa Convention. Now we have a border with Russia, and Russia has a massive offensive army. And if we pledge not to use these landmines and Russians don't give an F, they use it. I mean, this is a stupid game and we're not going to play it anymore. So the point is, we're going to pull out of this convention. We're going to mine the hell out of the eastern border and nothing comes over it. And I let Lithuanian defense minister do the talking here.
As a person who has been working in human rights for many years, I would have an advice: wake up. This is the world where we are defending our citizens, and we will take every single measure available to us. And if it's not available, we will make it available. Russian soldiers' boat is not going to cross my country's border ever again.
And this promise can be said by Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Finland. Russian troops will not cross the country's border ever again. Us 5 countries I just mentioned with the border of Russia, Eastern and Northern Europe, we're buying capabilities. We have capabilities not to destroy the Russians that come into Estonia, but hundreds of kilometers before. They have bases on the border, they have bases inland, they have bases between Moscow and Tallinn, where I'm right now. We have capabilities and we're buying more capabilities to turn them into minced meat on the Russian soil. That's what we're doing. And these anti-infantry landmines, they will be for the last Ivan who tries to step over the border. And continuing on the Lithuanian topic, yesterday, 2 days ago, on the 16th of April, Ukraine honored a hero from Lithuania. A memorial ceremony was held in Kyiv for a Lithuanian citizen, Tomas Valentelis, who fell whilst fighting for Ukraine. The Ukrainian fighters, and in the video we can see Ukrainian troops, his comrades, commemorating him by placing a Lithuanian flag on his casket. My friends, I feel like everything has been said. I want to say this week with this video also. I will have another video for you tomorrow for the members only Saturday special video every Saturday. Also Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Everybody else gets a video also. So see you tomorrow or on Monday. Until then, Slava Ukraini and bye bye.